I'm going through in this video the solutions to the questions that you were looking at yesterday. Question 1, they wanted you to find the slope of each of these lines. You are welcome to go the long way, but what I notice is that if I look at my log tables here, when the y is isolated, the slope will be in front of the x. It'll be the number that is attached to the x or being multiplied by the x. Have you figured out what the plus c is yet? If not, pause the video because, well, hopefully you did, because you would have needed it yesterday, like when you were trying these questions, especially question 11. Maybe not the other two questions. And can you see any C on the rest of that page? There it is. It's in the diagram. And it's where it cuts the y-axis. So the C will be the point where it cuts the y-axis. If I look here, because the y is isolated, there's my slope. And there's where it cuts the y-axis. So if I needed to, now they didn't ask me this, they just asked me to find the slope. Slope is 3. But if I needed to, I could sketch that line. So it cuts at 5. And it has a slope of 3. So rise 3, run 1. Rise 3, run 1, etc. So probably looks something like that. This is just a sketch. Obviously, if I wanted to graph it properly, I'd find points on the line, etc. Next one. What's the slope of this line? Well, because the y is isolated, the slope is the number in front of the x or multiplied by the x. So the slope there is 2. This is very easy. Just in case, it cuts the y-axis at -3. So the line might look like something like that. Remember, it's +2 plus slope means going that way, minus slope will be going that way. And then the y is isolated, there's my slope. M equals 1/2. That's pretty straightforward. Question 11. Look at that one. Slope of 2, because the y is isolated, I can tell it, and it cuts at 5. Here we go, slope of 1. And this one also has a slope of 1. That cuts at 5 as well. And that one cuts at -2. So look here, this cuts at 0. So I don't think that's even a possibility. Because otherwise you'd have y equals mx plus 0. Or just y equals mx. You don't have to include 0. So because that cuts at 0. Now that looks like that cuts at -2. So because that's the only one that has a -2 in it, I'm going to say that's that one. Q. This is parallel, but we've ruled out this one. This is parallel. So this line, and this line all have the same slope. So what's the slope of Q? We said it's a slope of 1, which means that looks like it's P. I hope you're understanding how I'm doing this. And then this cuts the y-axis at 5. And that one cut at 5, so they're the same. And that has a steeper slope. So that's R. Okay. And the last one, we're looking for 4 pairs of parallel lines. Okay, so I'm going to have them all written in the same way. Parallel lines have the same slope, so I'm just looking at their slope. Lovely. Yeah, that's very obvious as to what the slope is. Now, I'm doing this because the y is isolated. The y is completely on its own, so the slope is in front of the x. Well, I don't like the way this one doesn't have it written like the other one, so I'm going to rewrite D. And think about it. If you were multiplying fractions, so let's say we had a 1/2 x. Well, that's an x over 1. So it's top by top, bottom by bottom when you're multiplying fractions. So that's 1x over 2, which is x over 2. So if you can keep that in mind, that means that this must have been y equals a fifth x minus 1. Now, if I went too fast there, go back, think about it, look at this example, and so there's the slope of d. This one I'm going to rewrite as well. Y equals, I'm just going to put the x first. So half x plus 9. This is the same as d. So this is y equals a third x minus 2. So x over 3 is the same as 1x over 3 is the same as 1/3 by x. There's a fifth. That one looks good. 4 over 3. That one looks good. And I'm going to move this one around as well. Y equals minus 3/4 x plus a 1. Just moving those. I mean, they're on the same side, so nothing's happening. I'm just changing the order. And there's the slope. So let's have a look. Is there anyone with a slope of a half? Those two, A and E, have the same slope, so they're parallel. A third. There you go. B and C, or B and F. Same. Minus 3/4, C and I. They're parallel. Okay, so we've A, B, C. We've E, F, and I. Okay, so we're just looking here. We have a fifth and a fifth, so that's D and G. And what's left? Just H. And there's no matcher for H. And we were looking for only 4 pairs of parallel lines.